Well, it would be travesty if I started this review from anywhere but the second row of seats, because this has to be one of the most comfortable second row of seats anywhere across any segment of cars in India. Just look at the amount of thigh support that I have. Getting inside the car and getting off it is extremely easy thanks to that footboard there. Mind you, this car is not very high, it's only 180 mm in ground clearance, but that footboard has been provided nonetheless so that the luxury is not compromised. And the singular focus of this car is comfort, luxury and space, as you can see right now. Now you just saw that electric door slide back. Mayuresh will just press the button that you need to press to open it and to close it as well. And once you are seated inside, you can press this button here to open or close it again. So that was the second way to open or close the doors. Now you can also use this door handle to open the door as well as to close it. Now about the seats. These seats, as I mentioned, have fantastic thigh support, and you have these two levers here, one of which is to move it fore and aft in case you want to do some rows or to exercise your hamstrings, and in case you want to lose some belly fat and jiggle around, you have another button here. But why is that button there and why do you need to slide it sideways? Well, you don't get into the third row of seats using this space here. As you can see, there's a ton of space here. So what you do is you slide the seat backwards, you enter the car. I'll also show you how it works. So using this button here, you create the space between the two seats, you enter the car, and then using this space here, you get into the third row of seats. We are going to talk about the third row of seats also in detail, but it's the second row of seats which has me smitten, and there is so much to talk about them that I just cannot resist myself. First and foremost, you have these boss buttons here, and just by the press of this button, you can slide the seat forward by as much as you want, and you can also change the tilt angle of the front seat by pressing this button here. Now as you can see, I have acres and acres of legroom, and then it's time for me to play with all of these electrical controls. Now this button here is going to send me into a zero gravity position where I'll be completely relaxed, but mind you, it won't happen until I slide the seat back inwards, and only then I'll be able to enjoy this button and get into the relaxation mode. Not relaxed enough? Well, you can press this button here and extend this flap, which is going to further increase the comfort, and now I can lounge around as my driver drives me to a destination which may be hundreds of kilometers away. But this is still not all. I can get back into the natural position by the press of this button. Now one important thing to know about these controls is that if you want to go into relaxation mode with one touch without extending the calf support, you can use this button. But if you want to extend the calf support and you want a very fine grained control over the relaxation mode where you know exactly where you want to stop, like at this point or at this point or at this point, also to extend the calf support, you can use this button right here. And if I want to customize my seat position, I can use these independent controls for the recline angle to bring the flap out individually. Or even to increase or decrease the height of my seat. How cool is that? In terms of comfort, these seats are absolutely unmatched. Now while these seats are supremely comfortable, the one problem that you might face is that when the seat back is upright, as you can see, the headroom is not very generous. The Hycross is shorter than this car, the dimensions on this car are bigger than the Innova Hycross, but that car has better height. But still, the roof height is not going to be a problem with this car, and I'll tell you why. Because it has such fantastic adjustability for the recline angle. You can just recline the seat a little bit, and then no matter how tall you are, you'll always have enough headroom. Now to talk about a few other features that this car has, you have armrests at both the ends. Like all of that was not enough, you have seat ventilation which is controllable to 3 different levels, and you also have seat heating for both the rear seats. Of course, the front two seats also have seat heating and ventilation, but this is absolutely fantastic. This car also comes with a 3-zone climate control, and the controls for the 3-zone climate control are right here, and you can control the temperature from here, and you can control the blower speed, you can turn it off, and also you can change the modes. So where exactly are the AC vents? Well, the AC vents are here, right here in the roof, and you also have AC vents for the third row of passengers. Now, as I see, there doesn't seem to be any USB sockets to charge my phone, although there is a 12-volt power socket and two very nice cup holders which are adjustable, as you can see. Fret not, because the Type-C USB sockets have been placed very interestingly in the front seats, and not just for the boss passenger, it's available for the passenger behind the driver as well. What else? Well, this is not a very high car, but you still get these grab handles to get inside. Also, how can you do without these sunshades in a country like India where you have scorching heat? But is that still enough? Well, you still have more features, and this 2-pane sunroof, it's not a panoramic sunroof per se, it's not a single piece unit, but you have a really big glass panel, and this is better than a panoramic sunroof, and I'll tell you why. In a panoramic sunroof, mostly only the front panel opens, and here even the rear panel opens, so this can be used as a sunroof as well as a moonroof. And not just that, you can control this sunroof using this button here, or it can be controlled from those dual buttons which control the front sunroof and the rear sunroof up front as well. The window buttons are one touch up and down. You get a proper 1-liter water bottle holder, although you don't have any extra space here. You also get these two reading lights. And then you also get this space here where you can put your wallet or your cell phone. Finally, as you look at the color scheme here, it's a 3-tone color scheme with beige for the headliner, which by the way is of a very high quality. Then you have this soft touch material which is finished in glossy and black. This part here is soft to touch, but this brownish orange plastic part here is hard plastic, and so is the lower portion of the door panel. Now I'll come to the driving part as well, but what I can tell you right now is that the ride quality on this car is sensational, and while you're seated in the second row of seats, you'd feel like a king. And there are very few, rarest of the rare cars where you'll find so much comfort, and that's probably one of the reasons why people who want this car will want it. And the exorbitant pricing of this car is somewhat justified, because you'll not get this kind of luxury and comfort in the second row of seats anywhere. Time now to get to the third row of seats also and see how much space we have there. Now, as I mentioned, you'll have to jiggle the seat a little bit, move it towards your left, and then make your way into the third row. And as you just saw, there is acres and acres of legroom for the second row of passenger. But even if the passenger in the second row is seated in great comfort, you have tons of knee room here. Now, the only problem that I see with these seats is that the seat height itself is not very high, and the headroom also is not very generous. But these seats are one of the best out there. You have a headrest, not just for the side two passengers, but for the central passenger as well. So essentially what Kia is saying is that you can seat 3 people here, and for their safety you also have a proper 3-point seat belt. Now, to engage this proper 3-point seat belt, you have to draw it from the roof like so, and the first piece goes in here, and then the second piece comes over your torso and goes in here. And now you're properly buckled up even in the third row of seats as a third passenger, and it's amazing. Although I don't really think it's suitable for 3 passengers for a long journey, but the legroom here is exceptional, and I don't really have any complaints about that. Of course, you can recline these seats also, and that increases your headroom. Recline the seat and the effect of the low seat is also reduced, so you can really sit here for medium to long journeys also, especially if you're not a very tall person. So in that sense, this car can actually seat 6 people for medium to long journeys as well. Now, to release this seat belt, as you can see, you don't have a press button like you have in the traditional seat belt buckles. So what you have to do is you have to use this part of the seat and press here to release, and then it'll go into the roof and you just stow it away like so. Now the third row of passengers also get their own amenities. As you can see, I have my own reading lights, I have my own AC vents, I have 2 cup holders right here, I have my own USB charging socket. Not just that, I also have my own sunshades. While all of that is great, I have one complaint. I don't really think I'll be using this seat for the third passenger as much as I would be for 2 passengers maybe. And if this part of the seat could have been collapsible as an armrest with 2 cup holders, I think it would have really added a lot of value to the third row of seats and a lot of comfort as well. But the wonders of the Kia Carnival don't end here. We have to get to the boot to see what an amazing work they have done with the boots and the seats of this car. Let's go there and get amazed. But before I get out, I need to tell you this very important thing. There is this red strap which you can pull to move the seat sideways and make your way out of the car. You just have to stoop down a little, but getting in and out of this car is quite easy. Now the boot is powered, which is obviously amazing. And just look at how they have designed the boot. Even with the third row up, you have a massive 627 liters of boot space. And as you can see, we have 2 medium-sized suitcases sitting in the bay. You can stack it up and you can really load this car up for a very long holiday with your family, even if all the seats are occupied. It's very ingenious. But what if you wanted to move houses and you wanted more loading space? Well, just prepare for some magic now. So there's this lever here, you just have to pull it and stow these seats away. And now, as I mentioned, you have space to move houses and you really can load this car up like a bloody truck. This is absolutely ingenious and I really love what they have done with the seats without compromising even a bit about the comfort. They have just managed to provide you the best of both the worlds. Absolutely amazing. And in addition to all of that, you still have some space left here for your little knickknacks, your cell phones, or a bottle of water or what have you. You can store quite a few items in these 2 compartments as well. And then you have these hooks at both the ends. And all of this is absolutely amazing. This is both practical, ingenious, and really, really innovative. The one downside of this system is that you don't get a spare wheel, and that is something that you'll have to live with. Now, to put the seats back in place, just pull the lever again and then you pull this strap here and the seats are back in place. You also get this 12-volt power socket. And what I forgot to tell you is that there is also this additional reading light or an illumination on top of the third row as well. This light also works as illumination for the boot. The one problem that I have, the boot here is not gesture controlled. Now, while this does not come with gesture control, if you have the key in your pocket and you approach the car, the boot will detect it and it will lift up automatically. So if you have something in your hands, you don't really need to bother about anything. Also, as you move away from the car, the boot will again detect it and the tailgate will shut all by itself. You can also adjust the height to which you want the tailgate to lift up to by using the infotainment panel inside. Alternatively, if you want to stop the tailgate at any point, you just have to press this button. It will just stop at that point. Now, there are many ways to open this sliding door. You can press this button, you can yank this handle, you can use the buttons on this key like so. You can use the door handle from the inside, you can use the button on the inside, and there are 2 buttons on the driver panel also. So there are many ways, but the most amazing is that when you approach this sliding door, it detects it and it automatically slides back. Now, much as I love the second and third row of seats on the Carnival, the front seats are also as amazing and the features that you have here are absolutely unmatched. Let's go there and enjoy the driver's seat as well. Now, as you see, the seats are at an ideal height, but still to facilitate the entry and exit, you have the footboard. As I mentioned about the rear door panel, you have this panel in soft to touch material, you have this glossy black here. This material is soft to touch, this is soft to touch, this is hard, this is hard. And you have space for a 500 ml water bottle here. This place won't accommodate a 1 liter or a bigger water bottle very comfortably, although you have some space to spare here. All the 4 windows are one touch up and down, and here you have door lock and unlock, window lock and mirror controls. The front seats also come with two-way memory, and as you see here, they come with electric lumbar support and they are 12-way adjustable. The passenger side seat is also electric, although it does not have lumbar support, which means that the passenger side seat is 8-way adjustable. Let's get inside and see all the features that we have here. Now, I've already told you 3 different ways to operate the electric door there, but that's not all. You can operate the door using this button here as well. And as you can see, I can control both the doors, both left and right, using the 2 buttons here, and I can also release the powered boot using this button here. If you want a fail safe where you don't accidentally open the door, you can press this button and the power door will be off and nobody will be able to open or close it. The quality of the seats for the driver is also of a very high order. As you can see, there is ample thigh support and the cushioning quality is also of top order. The bolstering is fantastic. You have adjustable headrest, and as you can see, there is ample headroom as well. The steering wheel here is tilt and telescopically adjustable, and the controls and the stalks and everything is different from what you have seen in other lower end Kia cars, and the feeling from here is that of sitting in a very high quality car. These screens here are also special. They are 12.3-inch screens. They come as a continuous seamless system and they look absolutely gorgeous. This material here is soft to touch, while this is hard plastic. This is hard plastic, but overall the way it's been laid out, it looks premium. The steering wheel is of a very high quality. As I mentioned, the stalks are of a very high quality, and the feeling while sitting here is that of being in a very big, very wide car. It really gives you that sense of space and premiumness, and you do feel that you're driving something very, very special. You have a rather wide dead pedal there for comfort over long journeys, and this car is also quite generous in terms of the storage spaces that you have. As you can see, you have this really massive tray here, and I always love these open spaces. You can just throw whatever you have in your hand, be it a wallet, a cell phone or other knickknacks. Of course, you have a wireless charger also here. These 2 massive cup/bottle holders, which by the way are adjustable, fantastic. You have this additional space here, and this space under the armrest is absolutely cavernous. You can just throw in whatever you want. There is absolutely no dearth of space here, and it will just gobble up whatever you may want to throw in. Not just that, you also have the controls for heated as well as ventilated seats for the front 2 passengers, and the camera here is absolutely gorgeous. As you can see, you can have a proper 3D view. You can have the front view, you can have the rear view, and it's one of the best systems out there. So there's absolutely no complaint about the camera system as well. The drive selector here is drive by wire, so you essentially choose whether you want to be in drive, neutral or reverse using this dial, and you press this button to bring the car in P. You have drive modes as well, and you can choose from eco, normal, sport and smart. And while I'm on that topic, you'll see that the instrument console is also changing its design based on the mode that we are in. But not just that, you can also change the overall look of the instrument console also, and let me just show you how to do that. Go to settings, go to layout, and here you can either have the gauge style as a circle, which is a more traditional style, or as simple, which you just saw, and the graphics style can be changed in a manner where either it's linked to the drive mode, or it can be style A, B or C. Now let's bring it back to circle and link it to drive mode, and here also you'll see that the colors will change based on the drive mode that you're in. You can turn the parking sensors on and off, and you also have the auto hold button here. The parking brake is electronic, and on the central panel, an amazing thing is that you can switch between navigation and media and AC controls with the flick of a button, and the entire menu just changes. You of course have a 2-zone climate control up front and 1 extra zone at the rear, and As you can see here, you can switch to the navigation mode just by the flick of a button, and you can also go directly to home. All of this is absolutely amazing. And an important thing to know about this entire infotainment system is this is a grade higher than what you'll find in the likes of the Kia Seltos or the Kia Carens, because this is a more advanced version, and it's just not software. The hardware behind this entire system is also more advanced, and it's significant in the sense that not just can it give OTA updates to the infotainment system itself, this is connected very deeply with the ECU and the other controllers. For example, if you're driving an EV, like the EV9 also gets this advanced system. So the OTA updates are not just for the infotainment system, they are also for the controllers. So updates for the software of the car can also happen through OTA, and that's such an amazing thing. So when the company wants to release an update for, say, the engine controllers or for the motors, this infotainment system is capable of facilitating that, and it's a more advanced system. Now, in addition to all of that, you have these two USB sockets. This one is purely for battery, this one is for the connection with the phone as well as the battery, and you of course have this 12-volt power socket as well. The AC lowers are very robust and they are laid out in a horizontal fashion, and I just love how this entire screen has been tilted towards the driver. You have this really beautifully laid out chrome line in the central panel, and beautifully done piano black. This piano black by itself is of a very high quality, and ambient lighting which extends from the central part of the dashboard onto the sides, and what you see here is a part of the ambient lighting. You get 64 colors to choose from, and you have some presets as well as 64 colors which you can choose from, and there is a part of ambient lighting that is at the same place on the rear door panel as well. An important thing to note here is that the driver can control the seat ventilation and heating for the rear passenger as well. And as you can see here, I can not just control the seat heating and ventilation, but also the recline angle for the rear passengers. Cushion tilt, leg support and relax mode can also be controlled by the driver while just sitting here. This car also comes with a massive HUD, and you can control everything about the HUD, including the display adjustment, height and the rotation, as well as the content selection using this setting right here. Navigate to Taj Hotel. The Carnival also gets a feature where the driver or the front passenger can talk to the third row passengers using the microphone, and the voice will be sent to the third row using the speakers. The Kia Connect feature has over 100 connected car features. It also gets voice commands, and it is the best of the best. As we have seen, the Koreans like the Hyundai and Kia are some of the best when it comes to connectivity features, and this one is second to none. It also comes with a very generous suite of ADAS level 2 features, so it has everything that you can imagine, and from collision avoidance to pedestrian recognition, lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, you name it, and this car has it. So in terms of ADAS features also, there is absolutely no compromise. It also comes with 8 airbags. What all of that translates into is that this car is a 5-star and cap rated car, and in terms of safety there are absolutely no compromises. The audio system also is of a very high order. It comes with Bose audio, 12 speakers, and I listened to the sound. It's very high quality, although not comparable to some really high-end systems like Burmester, etc. But even if you are an audiophile, this car is going to satisfy your senses. Let's have a look at the sunroof as well, and the front pane of the sunroof opens like so. You have vanity mirrors at both the ends, and you have lights as well at both the sides. They are manual. On a lot of cars you have automatic lights coming on. Then you have these lights. You can turn both of them on using this button, and you have the Kia Connect button and the SOS button. Of course, the mirror is electrochromatic. Another thing that you do well to know is that it also comes with blind spot recognition system, not just through the camera but also through that triangle on the mirrors. You get a decent sized glove box also, although this is not cooled, but it's illuminated. For the passenger, there is another crevice there, and you can store quite a few things here, including a water bottle, your cell phone or wallet, and that's like an additional storage space for the co-driver. So this is the start stop button, and the moment you turn the car on, it lights up like a Christmas tree, and when you turn it off, you'll have this goodbye sound as well. Time now to talk about the exterior of this car also, which is quite noteworthy, and as you can see, the dimensions here are absolutely amazing. Comparing it with the Innova Hycross, this one is wider, this one has a longer wheelbase, this is longer. In every dimension, this is better than the Hycross, but the Hycross is slightly taller. And it's much bigger than the car that it replaces, which is the previous generation Carnival. And it's an amazing car, looks quite SUV-like for an MUV. As you can see, it has very muscular lines, whether it's the bonnet, whether it's the grille. Look at the very angular headlights. All of this is very, very muscular, and even when you're looking at it from the front three quarters, you can see that Kia have not tried to go soft with this one. The lines are very straight cut, and while this is an MUV, it has a very muscular, very, very assertive stance to it, and it does make a statement while it's on the road. It looks like a very solid car. Now, I won't talk much about how I find the design. I would want you to have a look at it and let me know. I can talk about the details though, and as you can see, you have this DRL here. The upper two lights are the low beam, these are the high beams, and the high beam here is automatic and it comes with high beam assist, so you don't really have to bother about playing around with the stock too much. The car will take care of it by itself. You get these dark chrome elements on the grille, and all in all, it is a very muscular structure. As you can see, you have the fog lamps at the bottom, the 360-degree camera unit sits here, two strong lines on the bonnet, and at the bottom you have this satin silver finish. How do you think the front of this car looks? Do let me know. Coming towards the side, it comes with diamond cut alloys, 18-inch wheels, discs both up front and at the rear. As you can see, the ground clearance does not look like much, but I can tell you that unless you are going over a really vicious obstacle or a very big speed breaker, this is not going to bother you. 180 mm of ground clearance. We have already shown you how the doors operate. You can have a look at the sunroofs from the top as well. It comes with a shark fin antenna. The roof rail looks like this, and you have this really nice, interesting silverish pattern on the C-pillar. You cannot move this window. It doesn't come down or go up, but let me tell you that you don't feel claustrophobic at all at the rear. And overall, the straight cut design of this car looks really nice. The overhangs have also been altered over the previous versions. So the front overhang is less and the rear overhang is more. Overall, the space inside has also been optimized over the previous generation, and this car looks really long, and that translates into the space inside as well. As you saw, the front design has been replicated at the rear, and just like the front DRL, you have these lights which mimic the styling up front. You also have this little fog lamp here at the rear, and the reverse light sit right here. All in all, it is, as I mentioned, a very square, very muscular design, and it's a blend of an MUV and an SUV. Very assertive. What is your opinion of this car's design? Do let us know in the comment section. We'll be very interested to know. Time now to get behind the steering wheel of this car, and I'm a sucker for diesel engines. This one comes with a diesel, and we would really be interested in knowing how this car performs. Let's get behind the steering wheel. Now, the most important aspect of a car which is supposed to be comfortable is its suspension system, and it wouldn't be much of a limo if it didn't ride well. And so what I've done is I've gotten this car onto this rough patch where there's barely any road, and must I say, the ride quality on this car is absolutely spotless. It's really plush. I drove it on the road also, and the road manners are fantastic, but the ride quality also is absolutely amazing, especially for a car which is this long. And even in such rough conditions, there is hardly any vertical movement to be felt, and it's really taking all of this rough in its stride rather well. So if you're going to be driving it even over bad roads, it's going to drive really well. So just because this car is coming in as a CBU and is not tuned for Indian roads doesn't mean that it doesn't ride well. So if comfort is high on your priority, then this car is something that you can definitely go with, and it's not going to disappoint you at all. So the ride quality, full marks. And as I mentioned, I drove it on the road as well, which I'm going to do again with you. And there also this car comes out with flying colors. There, as you can see, there's a highway, and that's where we're going to take it next. Now on the road, as you would understand, this is not exactly a driver's car. It's a really huge car and it's a people mover, and I'm surprised with the road manners of this car because it does not feel like it's such a big car. It really belies its size, and for the kind of comfort that we experienced on this car when we were in the roughs, the road manners on this car are really commendable. Now while it's not exactly a sporty or an enthusiast friendly car, but as you can see right now, I have an empty road ahead of me, and even double lane changes are handled by this car so beautifully well, and it's such a beautiful combination of good ride quality and fantastic handling for such a big car that if you're someone who's not going to be sitting in the passenger seat, if you're not chauffeur driven, yet you're going to enjoy driving this car. The road manners are really good. The continental rubber on this car is quiet, the ambient noise is beautifully cut, and the diesel engine here is 2.2 liter smart stream unit. It's a turbo engine. Power output is a very healthy 193 PS with a stonking 470 Newton meters of torque, which can propel this really heavy car to 100 in just 10.7 seconds. And the acceleration is quite brisk. There's a ton of mid-range torque available, and the 8-speed transmission on this car also is buttery smooth. Gear shifts happen really quickly. It's quite intelligent, puts you in the right gear at the right time, and you also have paddle shifters. So if you want to take control, you can do that as and when you want. And if you want to be traveling briskly with your family, I really think that this is a fantastic interstate traveler. Rides beautifully. There is no wind noise coming in. There is no ambient noise coming in. The only sound that I can hear post about 2,500 RPM is a very mild clatter of the diesel. It's very, very refined. But since it's not a petrol, there is the minimal sound of the diesel coming in. But everywhere else, the sound is cut out really beautifully. The ARI certified fuel efficiency of this car is 14.8 kmpl, and in the real world, within the city, you'll get about 9. And if you're not traveling with too many people, you'd be able to achieve about 14. But if you've loaded the car up, you'll get about 12 on the highway. So 14 and 12 on the highway with 2 aboard or with more. And within the city, you'll get about 8 or 9 kmpl in stop-start traffic. Overall, I really have no complaints whatsoever with this car. It really drives beautifully well for such a huge car. The fuel efficiency is fantastic, and the road manners are also amazing. So comfort is great, NVH is great, fuel efficiency is fantastic, and even if you're going to be driving this car, you're not going to be disappointed. So no complaints whatsoever in terms of the drivetrain, NVH and comfort. About the ADAS, as I mentioned, it comes with one of the most exhaustive suites, level 2 ADAS on any car, and it has all the autonomous driving features that you can ask for in India right now. And I have currently turned it off. It's very easy. As you can see, you have all the features clubbed together as driving convenience, driving safety, all of these things. You can just go there and turn off whatever you like. And I have turned off lane safety right now because I'm switching over lanes, and it can be a bit of an annoyance if you just want to be driving without the lane keep assist telling you whether you're crossing over a lane. So you can just turn it off with the flick of a button, and it is rather enjoyable. So if you're someone who's looking for a car that is nice to drive and ferry people around, it's a very nice choice. Even with all its luxury, the fantastic second row of seats, the amazing third row, all the luxuries, and the fantastic Kia connectivity, can you justify the 64 lakh rupee price tag? And the simple answer is no. This car is expensive, but it's not for the mind, it's for the heart. And for someone who wants to stand out from everyone else in the market, and someone who really wants comfort, and for someone who does not care much about money, this car still makes a lot of sense. And that reflects from the fact that thousands of bookings have been made and hardly any of them have been cancelled. So that really means there are takers for this car, and those takers don't really care much about the money. So price wise, it's probably not justified, but in terms of what it offers, it really is unmatched, and that itself is going to draw a lot of customers towards it. So for someone who really wants the best of the best comfort in the second row of seats in an MUV, the Kia Carnival, just the way it was in its previous iteration, is still rather unmatched. And if 30 lakh rupees extra over the Innova Hycross is worth the money for you for the additional comfort and space and tech that you get in this car, then go ahead and buy this car. it is one of the most luxurious and the most comfortable cars that you can drive on Indian roads. I really hope that I was able to answer all your questions in this review. Still, if you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. I'll be very happy to answer them. And until next time, this is your friend Amit Changani signing off. Rev hard, rev free, and drive safe.